Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
Welcome on in. Yes, it is the Wicked Boston Show here on the Rogue Media Network. Your host, Cam Stuart, Zach Burke, keeping us on the air from behind the glass, live on YouTube 5 days a week, noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. Yes, your lunchtime alternative to sports talk radio, not just Boston. Wicked Boston. And today we're talking about what could be a monumental day in the Patriots season. The trade deadline, 4 o'clock Eastern time this afternoon, just under 4 hours from where we're at right now. Are the Patriots going to make the blockbuster move that they are very much capable of and that their Patriots fans are very much thirsty for. We will look at what their priorities should be position by position and what kind of trades that could mean. That will be a big chunk of the first part of the show. We'll also have Jackson Roberts coming on in the middle segment because we're going to talk some Red Sox, okay? Alex Bregman has officially opted out. Is Trevor Story next? The clock is ticking. Could the Red Sox be losing grip on the offseason before it even starts? And then to round things out, we will talk about the Patriots once again. What Drake Maye is doing, not just for him, not just for his team, not just for his head coach, but for his offensive coordinator. Is Drake Maye saving Josh McDaniels' reputation in the NFL? All that and more coming up on this episode of the Wicked Boston Show. But we start where we start. The thumbnail, why you came here. The talk around Boston today is the NFL trade deadline. The Patriots are in a better position than most teams in the league. They've got all kinds of capital, 10 draft picks in the 2026 NFL draft. They've got more cap space than anybody in the league, and they're a good team that has some holes. All that added up should add to big-time blockbuster moves at the NFL trade deadline, especially when you add in the fact that not only are they 7-2 and on a 6-game winning streak, but they've got a franchise quarterback on a rookie contract. We know with the way the NFL goes, you are on borrowed time. And ask the Washington Commanders, that can be taken fairly quickly for a team that has a quarterback on a rookie contract that made the NFC Championship last year and is out of the picture in 2025 through midway through the season. So what should the Patriots be going after? Let's prioritize what positions the Patriots should be going after by this afternoon's trade deadline. Number one, of course, is pass rusher. That has been throughout all of this. The Patriots need to go out and get a guy who can get after the quarterback. 2 sacks in the last 2 games. Michael Penix only went down in the first quarter. That was it. These mediocre to bad quarterbacks that have put up decent numbers against the Patriots the last couple of weeks, whether it be Spencer Rattler, Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel, even that wasn't great, or Michael Penix. They're doing it because there's no pass rush, man. There's no pressure on them. They're not going down. They've got all day to throw. The Patriots led the league in sacks after 2 weeks with 8 of them. They have 11 in the 7 weeks since, and you just traded a guy who was a pretty effective pass rusher for you last year in Keon White. You've narrowly avoided a major injury to Harold Landry in that game against the Saints. And if he or Kayvon Chason goes down, you have nothing in terms of a pass rush. And it's already been a tough start to the Patriots trade deadline when it comes to this position. Jalen Phillips was someone they had circled, someone they had a lot of interest in from Miami, right? So you got to pay a little bit of a tax to get someone midseason from within your division, but already not theirs. Philadelphia traded a 3rd-round pick to go and get Jalen Phillips here. Now, I don't know if the cost would have been higher for a team within their own division, but if we're taking that at face value, that trade is very indicative of where the Patriots are going, I think. If they're willing to move a 3rd-rounder for some big-time help at their biggest position of need right now, that tells me they're probably not going blockbuster. So Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, sorry, that's probably not happening. Where it does get interesting, though, is with Trey Hendrickson. We know that he's been on the trading block. Cincinnati cannot lock him down to a long-term deal. They haven't yet, and they're just not going to be able to with the money that they're paying the wide receivers, okay? He's on an expiring contract. So if the Patriots go out and trade for him, yeah, they do have the cap space to extend him for 4 years or whatever he's looking at. They have the money to do that. But he is on an expiring contract. So you can say, hey, there's no guarantee we re-sign him. Maybe that helps sweeten the pot in terms of what you have to give up to Cincinnati. But even if you don't re-sign him, you can franchise tag him next year. And then there's all kinds of things you can do to get a pick in return. So if you're giving up, let's say a 2nd-round pick for Trey Hendrickson on an expiring, then you can franchise tag him next year if he has a heck of a year and you're willing to part with him, which is a weird scenario. But if it is, you can get 2 first-round picks off a franchise tag. Or if not, and he has a good year and you don't want to get rid of him, then you have a good player. Like there's a lot of different options for the Patriots when it comes to Trey Hendrickson that isn't exactly there for Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, guys who are locked down for a couple more years, and it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to go and get them. Most likely, though, if they're not willing to trade with second or third round picks or part with second or third round picks, most likely they're going to go with a guy like Arden Key from the Tennessee Titans. This is one that obviously has a ton of familiarity with Mike Vrabel. He and his staff brought in Arden Key when the Titans signed him back in 2023. So there's some familiarity there, and it's probably going to cost you not a lot at all. It's probably going to be about a 6th-round pick to bring Arden Key in here and play for the Patriots. And those two things are great. The familiarity and the price, those are great. But I don't think Arden Key coming in here really elevates you. I don't. A guy who is 6 tackles and a sack and a half in 5 games this year. He had 6.5 sacks last year, which is nice, but he's 29 and he's a definite depth piece. Like, I don't know that he's as good as Kayvon Chaisson. So yeah, it's depth. And if Kayvon Chaisson gets hurt, you have someone who has similar production. But it is not elevating you past 2 sacks in the last 2 weeks. It means that these quarterbacks, whom probably shouldn't be beating a defense as talented as yours, have a lifeline because they're not getting pressured, just like we've seen the last couple of weeks. So if you're wanting to compete in January, which is what we're talking about with the Patriots at this point, you've got to take the defense to another level. And I don't think Arden Key does that. That's all. Probably a nice depth piece, but he does not elevate your defense to what it's going to take to win in the AFC playoffs. Number 2 position of need for the Patriots and number 2 priority at the trade deadline is running back. Obviously, you're getting really, really thin at that position. Okay. You have a practice squad caliber back in Terrell Jennings and a rookie in Travion Henderson, a guy whom clearly Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels don't trust enough to be a legitimate weapon in this offense year one. Excuse me. Antonio Gibson not walking through that door. Out for the season. And if Ramondre Stevenson has turf toe, which is what the rumor is, then that's not like a, hey, limit him in practice, ice it up, he'll be ready for Sunday kind of injury. That's not what that is. That's a good couple of weeks out of the lineup. And we know this, it's been a while, but we do know this very, very well. If you're going to win down the stretch after Thanksgiving and into December and into January, you're going to need to run the ball more effectively than you have this whole season. The Patriots do not have that kind of running game that it's going to take. Not a lot of huge names out there for the running back position group. It sounds like Alvin Kamara not for sale. So that really kind of thins things out. We talked about Jerome Ford from Cleveland last week as a depth piece, but you might need something more than a depth piece. Enter in Chuba Hubbard. Fascinating name, former Oklahoma State Cowboy. Fascinating name in more ways than just the fact that his name is Chuba. But he's had 2,100 rushing yards over the last 2 seasons. Not having a great year right now, 300 yards. He's been replaced by Rico Dowdle, who they really love down there in Carolina. The problem is with Chuba, Carolina's 5-4. Like, they just won at Lambeau on Sunday. And they're in the weakest division in football. I don't think they're ready to sell off some parts. They got 2 more games left against the Saints. Okay, they know there's a couple of wins on the schedule. Even if Chuba Hubbard is not their guy right now, he's not the lead back for them. I don't think they're just sitting there thinking, yeah, you know what? It's time to get rid of him. I think they could use the depth right now. So I don't know that a 5-4 Carolina team is parting with their running back. So you might be shit out of luck if you're the Patriots. You might just have Travion Henderson, Terrell Jennings, and hope and pray that it's not too serious for a guy in Ramondre Stevenson. So running back still number 2, though, but you're probably more looking depth. Here's where it gets really interesting. The next one and the final one, priority list for the Patriots, wide receiver. Now, it's very interesting because, over the last couple of seasons, that would have been the number 1 priority throughout, right? Standing headline, Patriots need a wide receiver. But I almost put this at number 2 because of how much this has changed over the last couple of days. This receiver room is still, it's not elite. Definitely not elite. But They've had 6 different leading receivers in the game this year through 8 games. That's crazy. And Drake Maye is clearly spreading the love around quite a bit. You don't want to upset the apple cart with the chemistry they've got right now. But again, if you're going to be a real AFC contender in January rather than October, you should really be getting better at that position, and you really should be helping your young quarterback there. Kayshon Boutte goes down on Sunday. Still don't know kind of the extent of that injury, but after he goes out of the game, he's having a nice season. After he goes out of the game, the Patriots offense looked like a completely different team. They went totally stagnant after Kayshon Boutte went out of the game. Now, the names we have floated for wide receiver over the last couple of weeks, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brian Thomas Jr., even Jacoby Myers, who is now off the market, like those guys, I would love if they're still all available for something that isn't a first-round pick, which is obviously a bit of a reach at this point. I'm kind of glad they didn't get Jacoby Myers. I love Jacoby. He obviously plays well in Josh McDaniels' offenses and like was super dependable here with the Patriots 5 years ago. But he just doesn't really do anything different for you. You have Stephon Diggs and Pop Douglas doing everything that Jacoby Myers does and a little bit more. But a guy like Chris Olave or his teammate Rashid Shaheed or Brian Thomas Jr. or dare I say A.J. Brown, that's different. Those guys can take the top off a defense, and it adds an extra dimension to this offense and to Drake Maye. And it plays right into your quarterback's strength. Kayshon Boutte, decent deep ball threat this year, certainly. But we're talking about legit guys that you got a game plan for them 20 yards down the field, and you have the most accurate deep ball throwing quarterback in the entire league right now. Now, I don't imagine that New Orleans trades either of those two guys for anything less than a third-round pick, which maybe the Jalen Phillips trade just revealed how the Patriots value that kind of draft pick. I mean, your third-round pick is a starter at guard this year, to be fair. But I think that's actually pretty good value for someone like Olave or Rashid Shaheed. With A.J. Brown, I know it's a hot name. I just don't see the Eagles doing that at the trade deadline. With their offensive deficiencies this year, I don't think that is a very smart move for the defending champs to defend their crown by trading A.J. Brown in the middle of the season, no matter how unhappy he is. Those are the 3 priority lists for me. If you want to talk linebacker, safety, certainly they could use some depth there. Jamal Adams becomes a very interesting name. Yeah, he's still playing. He's been playing linebacker this year, a little hybrid linebacker safety that could absolutely be an option for the Patriots that probably won't cost you very much from Vegas. But let me know what you think. What position should the Patriots be attacking in today's trade deadline? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Of course, we come at you every weekday live at noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well as your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. When we come back, we are going to look at some more deals, but not from the football side of things. Let's look towards the Red Sox. It's opt-out time, and the names are starting to go. Alex Bregman, no surprise, he's already opted out. But if this other player opts out, are the Red Sox suddenly losing control over free agency before it's even started? Let's talk about it with Jackson Roberts of Sports Illustrated next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on the screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Welcome back. It's the Wicked Boston Show on Rogue Media Sports Network with Cam Stewart. That's me. I'm pointing to me. I'm the host of the show. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeps us on the air 5 days a week, live on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. So if you're new to the show, like, subscribe. It's completely free, and it helps you know that there is a lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio that won't want to make you just rip your hair out and cuss at the person in front of you in traffic. Okay? We're just trying to get through the day, and we want real Boston sports talk. That's what we do here on the Rogue Media Network. We've talked Patriots. We'll talk Patriots again before the end of the show, trade deadline. We got to take a little Red Sox break here because it's the Red Sox offseason too, and this is going to be an interesting one. And I got to say to you guys, before we bring them on here, whenever I'm looking up Red Sox stuff, whenever I'm looking for good, like this is not a joke, whenever I'm looking for good Red Sox content, especially here in the offseason, the name that always pops up is Jackson Roberts. Like I just can't get anybody that's not Jackson Roberts. So here we go again. We're going to bring him in. It is time to talk Red Sox offseason. Alex Bregman has officially opted out, and he might not be the last one. Let's bring in our Red Sox expert, especially in the offseason, Jackson Roberts of Sports Illustrated, joining the show. Jackson, we kind of not surprised here, not surprised that Alex Bregman has opted out, but he has made it official. We talked to you about this a few weeks ago, wondering if anything's changed here. Where does re-signing Bregman rank on your priority list for the Red Sox in this offseason?
Yeah, and thanks for the plug there, Cam. It's good to know the Google Explore tab is doing its job.
Huge for you, man. Huge for you.
I think Bregman, if he's not priority one, he's priority 1A. And the problem with, answering a question like this is there's so many different ways that, the permutations of the Red Sox roster could play out for next season. If you lose Bregman, but you bring in, say, a Kyle Schwarber and maybe, you reconfigure the infield a little bit and all of a sudden Marcelo Meyer's playing third and you get a new second baseman, then all of a sudden losing Bregman doesn't look that bad. But if you lose Bregman and the best you can do is like replacing him with Eugenio Suarez at third base, then you're going to be sitting in a lot of angry Red Sox fans this offseason. So it's kind of a roundabout answer, but it's also the type of thing where everything, like the offseason is such a complex puzzle, and putting everything in context matters so much that right now it seems like losing Bregman would be the end of the world. And maybe it would be the end of the world, but at the same time, there's always a pivot you can make. It's just a question of whether or not the Red Sox have the wherewithal and the resources to make that pivot this offseason.
And let's look deeper into that. Let's play out the worst case scenario. Okay. The Edmund Fitzgerald is at the bottom of Gitchagumi and Alex Bregman is playing somewhere else on opening day in 2026. If that is the case, in your opinion, what are the Red Sox telling the fans? How are they justifying that Alex Bregman's not here?
I mean, Craig Breslow is going to say something that takes 600 words to basically say we didn't want to pay this guy when he's 35, 36 years old. Yeah. And in reality, it's John Henry and whoever else that's not greenlighting that expenditure. But there isn't really a good justification for it if they don't replace his offensive. It's not just they need to replace his offensive production. I want to strike back against that. Now they have, they didn't have a 30 home run guy last year. They were 15th in the league in home runs. They struck out more than any other team with runners in scoring position. This team needs a lot of offensive help to truly consider itself a contender. And that especially becomes true if you watch this postseason and you see the pesky at-bats from a team like the Blue Jays, who the Red Sox are going to have to contend with for many years to come. They've got to figure out, that middle to bottom third of the order, how they're not just going to be a walking strikeout machine next year. And losing Bregman is one piece of that, but you can't just run back the same offense, or you're going to be in a similar like 88 to 92 win boat and not necessarily have, a scary group come playoff time. Obviously, getting Roman Anthony healthy for the playoffs will be a big key, but there's at least one more big bat needed before you factor in potential Bregman leaving.
And to add to that, needing to add to not just replace, but to add to what you had last year, you're also not going to have a first half of Rafael Devers next year. Like, that is something that gets kind of forgotten when we talk about the overall stats of this team. And obviously it was pretty glaring, their power outage towards the end of the season. But
23rd in homers after he left.
I mean, you just can't go on like that. I know pitching wins, but as we saw with Toronto and the Yankees and the Dodgers and, of course, Seattle, like, the long ball still plays in October, and you need that. And the Red Sox are clearly very, very not near the top, I guess the best way to put that, of that part of the game for sure. And Alex Bregman can absolutely add to that. Yeah. Looking at the potential replacement, you talk about a pivot. Marcelo Meyer might have to play third. There's a good chance that if Trevor Story's back, we'll talk about it in a minute, he could be playing second base. One of the names that is going to be out there, Bo Bichette. Just homered in Game 7 of the World Series, Jackson. Don't know if you saw that. Team lost, but he homered. And Tyler Milliken had this great tweet out there this morning. 35 games at Fenway Park. He's slashing 329, 382, 524, and 907. 6 homers, 10 doubles, 30 RBI, 149 WRC plus. There's going to be a big tag attached to Bo Bichette this offseason. Is that someone that could be an outside candidate for the Red Sox to consider?
It could be, although I don't see him signing for less than Alex Bregman. So the only difference there would be if they think that he's going to age better / the fact that he's 4 years younger is a big consideration for them and makes them willing to pay, say, Bo Bichette when he's 34 versus Alex Bregman when he's 36. Because otherwise, I think you're talking about similar offensive impact, and what Alex Bregman's defensive impact is. You don't know what Bo Bichette's is unless you're going to leave him at shortstop, which I do not recommend because he's the worst qualified shortstop in the majors. So he's going to move to either second or third for his next team. If the Red Sox signed him and kept Story but did not keep Bregman, that's a weird sentence to say, but let's just say that it's a Bichette, Story, Meyer infield next year. I would probably line it up with Bichette at second, and then Story at short, Meyer at third. But it's a tough call either way. That's not a projected good defensive infield.
That was my next thing. Does that make you bet? There were some okay defensively infield wise last year, but pretty bad towards the end of the season. Does that make your infield defense any better, or does it make it worse?
I think it makes it maybe slightly worse, depending on like the value prop of swapping out Bregman's third base defense for Meyer's second base defense. But either way, like, you're talking about like a pretty minimal margin, and Bregman is your best defender on the infield as of right now. So I really don't see the upside in, like, it's really just if you think Bo Bichette's bat's going to age better than Bregman's over the next like 6 years, and he's going to cost probably like more per year and also at least one additional year. So, and trust me, I've watched Bo Bichette go 5 for 5 at Fenway. I've watched him, pepper the monster on Garrett Crochet's first pitch of the game. Like, he's an impact hitter, and he'd be really nice to add to the lineup. But the logic of like swapping him out for Bregman, it's really just kind of like a which flavor do you prefer? It's not projecting to make your team better or worse. Like, it really is like, I think reasonable people could disagree on it, which is why it's fun. But at the same time, it's going to be like harder, I guess, to pry him from Toronto than it just would be to re-sign Bregman. So there'd have to be like a very specific preference from the front office to go Bichette over Bregman.
Talking with Jackson Roberts, Sports Illustrated, covering the Red Sox, and is all in on this offseason and what could be a big one, but that leaves room for plenty of disappointment for Red Sox fans as well. We knew Alex Bregman was going to opt out. Ends, and so now the clock is ticking for Trevor Story, another infielder who just kind of has this sneaky opt-out. Not a lot of people were thinking about it last year, but then he has a pretty good season. He leads the Red Sox in RBI and home runs, which is good for him. Not something to write home about with this offense, maybe. But where are you feeling that? Do you feel that Trevor Story could actually opt out of this and hit the free agent market after one good season here?
I'm not ruling out the possibility altogether. I think that, the thing that helps his case is that it's a weak shortstop market. It's basically Bo Bichette, who's not a shortstop, and Ha-Sung Kim, who I don't think is a shortstop in an ideal world either. I think he's
and Trevor Story might not be one for the Red Sox next year.
No, and I think the market for teams that want Trevor Story is maybe less than the people who are really, gung-ho about the possibility of him opting out would indicate. I'm not seeing like what team is going to be all in on a 33-year-old shortstop whose defense is declining and who's had a ton of injuries. Obviously, him staying healthy was huge for the Red Sox this year, and if he stays, they hope it happens again. But are you banking on it? I don't think that's necessarily something that's safe to do. So as far as like the odds of him opting out go, I would probably put at like 15% right now. And it's, we'll know soon whether or not he's actually planning to do it. I've seen it pointed out. I think Red Sox Stats pointed it out first, and then Chris Cotillo wrote about it earlier this week. But the fact that he switched agencies after he signed with the Red Sox is an interesting angle. Back in 2022, and maybe that 6-year, $140 million wasn't what he thought he was going to get. And I think it was, a fair amount less than most people would have projected at the time. But I don't necessarily think that applies to now either. He's worth what he's worth now. And I think if he entered the open market, he'd probably get basically the same contract he has now. And I also think it's, important for him to try and stay in Boston and win it, with the team that he's been with for the last 4 years, having gone through all the lows. So
yeah,
my prediction is that it won't happen, but I wouldn't be completely shocked if it did.
It does feel like almost best option for both sides, but you do bring up an interesting point. Like with the shortstop market, Baseball America is projecting him at 4 years, $110 million if he goes to the open market. And like, that's probably not worth it. Right. But with the
who's doing that?
I don't know, man. That's what I saw it. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. Like for a guy past 30 with an extensive injury history at this point. And like, look, that was the best case scenario, what you got for him last year, even though it was a pretty bad first 2 months. And like, what was it? 25 and 96 with 30 stolen bases. That's a heck of a year for Trevor Story. Is it 4 by 110?
Yeah. Well, these shortstops, they fall off a cliff, If you remember, like, it's been a while since we've had a successful everyday shortstop over 35 years old. And you think back to, like, I think the perfect example is Brandon Crawford earlier this decade. In 2021, Brandon Crawford finished 4th in National League MVP voting out of nowhere. And it seemed like he was having this late career resurgence. 2 years later, he was basically out of the league. And he ended up playing a really sad, 20 games for the Cardinals last year, but he really should have retired after 2023. And that, I believe 2023 was his age 34 season, but it might have been 35. And either way, it's like, this stuff happens fast. So
it's like a blue lobster.
I don't see any team giving him a third year necessarily, let alone a fourth.
It seemed crazy to me. Crazy. They also, Baseball America had Bregman, by the way, at 6 for 180, which sounds like what Bregman's going for. That sounds like what he would opt out for. Whether someone
does he get a 6th year is basically the determining factor for me.
4 or 5 seems pretty comfortable, but 6, that's a lot. I do want to talk about one guy who opted out, but maybe the Red Sox opted out of him. Lucas Giolito also hitting free agency. Doesn't sound like there's going to be a qualifying offer there. It's not crazy from what we've thought about. How much does that kind of affect how the Red Sox look at starting pitching in this offseason, or does it affect it at all?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that them turning down the mutual option necessarily means that the qualifying offer is not coming. I still think there's a better than 50% chance that it's not coming, but I'm less sure about that than I am about Story. So, it's something to monitor in the next couple of days here, unless there's reporting in the last couple hours that I'm not up to date with. But anyway, I do think the most likely scenario is that he ends up leaving. But again, I wouldn't be shocked if they try to broker a reunion one way or another. But basically, the long and short of it is Lucas Giolito probably outperformed his projections this year, but that's what you need to make the playoffs, and especially in today's day and age where there's so many starting pitching injuries, him giving them like 2.5 months of really good quality starts was, I think, one of the biggest X factors to them making the playoffs. So if he does leave, and I do think that's the most likely scenario, you have to, I think it's a pretty clear barometer, and it's one that people have talked about. You have to get another starter that projects to be better than Brian Bayo. You have to be able to slot someone in between Crochet is the 1 and Bayo is the 3. And then you can feel pretty comfortable about the other guys you have coming back. I wouldn't say adding that person makes it, unpalatable to bring Giolito back. I think you could work it so that you have Giolito as your 3 or 4 and keep Bayo and trade or sign for someone else. But I think the more important thing is getting that other person. And then Giolito could be kind of a nice bonus piece if he stays. But there's obviously other ways to use somewhere around the $20 million per year that he's probably going to get on the open market. So the real upshot here is Giolito leaving just only increases the need that they already had, which was to add a number 2 guy.
Yeah, and possibly a number 4 as well. And obviously, I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you said earlier if Bregman wasn't option 1 or priority 1, it's 1A. I'm guessing priority 1 would be that number 2 starting pitcher. Right?
100%.
Yeah. Looking at, we just came off a great World Series, Jackson. Like phenomenal, must-see TV kind of stuff. And you wrote a nice article again for Sports Illustrated about what that series means for the Red Sox. Because as a Red Sox fan, you're watching and you're pissed off for a couple of different reasons. First off, there's a team in your division who you took 2 out of 3 against in a huge series in September on the road. You thought you were better than them at a couple of points during the season. That was the team the Dodgers were playing. And then you look at that Dodgers team and you see Mookie Betts, ring number 3. Kike Hernandez, almost the GOAT of the World Series, but Andy Paz catches the ball. Yamamoto, you were in on that. Blake Snell, you were in on that. There's so many different ways you can circle and look at that Dodgers team and be like, man, they're just doing all the things the Red Sox don't do. So from a Red Sox standpoint, Jackson, what was the biggest standout to you in that great 7-game World Series?
There's so many. Yeah. I mean, I think the number one thing is the Dodgers are willing to go the extra mile that the Red Sox haven't been over the last few years. And even if they're not going to, hand out these $400 to $500 million payrolls with all this deferred money that the Dodgers are clearly willing to do and now can afford to do for perpetuity because Ohtani mints money for that franchise. It's just like, it's the little things, and the inverse of, all those guys that are on the Dodgers that we talked about there is the fact that the Red Sox took, for lack of a better term, the sloppy seconds from the Dodgers at the trade deadline this year. They said, give us Dustin May. We'll give you the prospect that we got in the Rafael Devers trade for a guy who has a 4.85 ERA at the time, who's about to hit 100 innings and hasn't ever thrown 100 innings in his career. We'll take that guy who's almost guaranteed to get hurt at some point in the next few weeks. And here's 2 actual outfield prospects for him. And meanwhile, if he stays in LA, he's probably getting DFA'd in August or September because all those guys that were on the injured list, Glasnow, Snell, Ohtani, came back and pitched down the stretch. So Dustin May is going to get a World Series ring from the Dodgers, but the Red Sox are the ones who pay the price for it. So that annoys you. It's like the Dodgers have just been a step or 2 ahead of the Red Sox, but they're always thinking along the same lines. And then the Dodgers are also willing to make the hard decisions when the Red Sox aren't. Mookie Betts has 3 rings as a Dodger now. He's going into the Hall of Fame with the Dodgers logo on his cap.
Oh God,
that's got to annoy you.
It does.
Even if you're happy for Mookie Betts, that has to annoy you at this point. You hate to keep bringing that trade up, but that's the reality of the scenario.
But we're living in it. We're seeing it all the time. It's crazy. Who would have thought the Dodgers weren't just willing to get rid of starting pitchers at the trade deadline? That's crazy. It's almost like there's something wrong with them. And the other thing too, you kind of said it in there. It's like the Dodgers, they bring in Shohei Ohtani, or they bring in Freddie Freeman, and they're not like, oh shit, we got to trade Mookie Betts. We got to get some alignment. They bring in Shohei Ohtani, and they don't say, oh shit, we got to get rid of Freddie Freeman, which it feels like the Red Sox finally spend money and they go and get Bregman, and halfway through the season, it's, we got to get rid of Rafi Devers. We can't pay that $30 million. So anyway, frustrating stuff. But what's not frustrating is reading Jackson's work. Jackson, let the people know where they can find your work and how they can keep up all off season long.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, like Cam says, my work will come to you somehow.
It'll show up on your doorstep.
That's how all this internet stuff works. But yeah, obviously, Red Sox on SI. I'm on there. My good friend Patrick McAvoy's on there as well. We're covering the Red Sox all day, every day for the rest of the offseason. And yeah, I mean, I'll be back on the Cam show at some point, I'm sure, because there will be massive transactions at some point this offseason. And that's what builds championships is, what are the Red Sox willing to do and what can they actually accomplish? So stay tuned for all of it.
A lot of times you win it in the winter. Jackson, thank you so much for coming on. We'll definitely have you on again, but appreciate your time as always. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Sorry. There he goes. Jackson Roberts, Red Sox on SI. We will definitely have him again, break it down this Red Sox offseason. Let us know what you think about this Bregman opt-out, what Trevor Story is going to do. I find that very, very fascinating in terms of how 2026 looks for the Red Sox. Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel as we come at you every weekday live at noon Eastern time on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts, as well as your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. When we come back, we're going to shift it back to the Patriots, trade deadline day, which could be a huge one for the Patriots. But Drake Maye has already elevated this team. Okay, he has taken them to an AFC contender from being at the bottom of the barrel. But what is he doing for his offensive coordinator? Drake Maye changing the game and changing the reputation around the league for Josh McDaniels. Let's talk about it next on the Wicked Boston Show. NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? For me, it's the next one. Because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props, or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. Lines and odds subject to change. Here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code CAMSHOW. That's code CAMSHOW for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
Welcome back here, Wicked Boston Show, Rogue Media Network. Your host, Cam Stewart, fighting through the cold still. Just fighting through it, damn it. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week, live on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. Today we have talked so much Patriots. Trade deadline this afternoon. Where are they looking? What position group are they looking for? Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Edge rusher, wide receiver all of a sudden, running back, linebacker. What are you thinking? Let me know in the comment section below. We also talked about Alex Bregman's opt-out and what the Red Sox could do in this offseason because of that, whether Trevor Story will come back. Now we go back to the Patriots. And specifically, we look at Drake Maye and we look at Josh McDaniels, which is something we do all the time here, right? They have been the talk of this whole season for the Patriots, and for good reason. Now, look, we know Drake Maye is helping Josh McDaniels, right? They're 7-2. They've won 6 games in a row. Drake Maye is a legitimate MVP candidate. But he's not just helping the Patriots and helping his new offensive coordinator. Drake Maye is saving Josh McDaniels' reputation in the game right now. We know how quickly that reputation can dissipate. Ask any of these stupid talking heads at ESPN what they think about Bill Belichick's legacy. They'll make a whole week of content about it. And Josh McDaniels, when he came back to New England this year, I was stunned at how many Patriots fans didn't like the move. Said, oh man, you're just trying to tap into the past. What they're doing with this, though, with Drake Maye and Josh McDaniels in this marriage, is taking the best of the past and creating the Patriots' future. Because all people could say was, oh, well, he was just Tom Brady's OC. What did he do when he didn't have Tom Brady? And ignoring the fact that, A, he took Mac Jones to a Pro Bowl, and B, had Matt Castle at a Pro Bowl level when he was filling in for a year. And C, they went 3-1 in 2016 when they didn't have Tom Brady. So you take all that away and just look at the fact that, okay, fine. When he did have Tom Brady, he won 3 Super Bowls as an offensive coordinator. That's a pretty good stat line. It's a pretty good resume to have, Brady or no Brady, to win 3 Super Bowls at this position. And yet people, Patriots fans, when they brought him back, were saying, oh, great. Now what? Now we're going to stunt this kid's growth. And what Drake Maye is proving is that, Josh McDaniels can still coach in this league. 17 touchdowns to 4 picks, second best completion percentage in the entire league at 74.1%, a gaudy 74.1%, and a team that's atop the AFC East. Drake Maye is saving Josh McDaniels' career. But on the flip side, Josh McDaniels is helping create Drake Maye's career. I don't know if the kid's actually going to win the MVP this year. I don't know if the Patriots are going to win a couple of playoff games or even if they'll make the playoffs. But certainly what you've seen so far and the way that everybody's talking about Drake Maye around this league, there's not going to be people saying, oh, well, what has Josh McDaniels done without Tom Brady? And yeah, he took Mac Jones to a Pro Bowl in 2021, and the Patriots made the playoffs with a rookie Mac Jones. And I'm not going to sit here and say that they got lucky and Mac Jones was actually trash in that 2021 season, which a lot of Patriots fans have a revisionist history of. But certainly at no point during that season was Mac doing what Drake Maye can do any given Sunday. Okay? He was never going to have the deep ball threat that Drake Maye has in his arsenal. He never had the wheels that Drake Maye had in his arsenal. He probably didn't get sacked as much because he was throwing the ball at guys' feet. But clearly, Drake Maye has a much higher ceiling than Mac Jones ever had, even when all of us were really high on Mac Jones. Like, this is not revisionist history. We thought we had the quarterback of the future for sure. But when we look at Drake Maye, you think not only do we have a quarterback in the future, we might have a top 5 quarterback in the league. Like, now, like the way he's playing right now, you could have that. He's already got more yards in 9 games this year than he did in 13 last year. Okay, he's already thrown more touchdowns than he did last year. And he's been much better protecting the football, even though he had a fumble and a pick in this last game against Atlanta. He went, 4 or 5 straight games without a turnover before that. Okay, this second-year leap for a guy who was a project quarterback to be in year 2 and a legit MVP candidate, yeah, nobody's questioning Josh McDaniels' ability anymore. Again, you look at what Drake's doing this season and the elevation that this team has with the lack of weapons. You know, they didn't get that much better at the receiver room. Stephon Diggs has had a nice year. He's a good player. He's still got a lot left in the tank. But that made them from the 31st or 32nd best wide receiver room to maybe the 25th, 24th in the league. And you've got an MVP candidate at quarterback. Yeah, not a lot of guys are doing that. Not a lot of coaches are doing that. I would go as far as saying, with what Drake Maye has done this year for the weapons around him, that's the kind of performance from an offensive coordinator that gets you a head coaching job in the league the next year. And it's obviously grading on a curve because Josh McDaniels has had a couple of bad stretches as a head coach, and he's outright left the team at the altar as the head coach. So I don't know if that's the case, but that he's going to be a head coach again next year. I don't think that's going to be the case, but that actually works out better for Patriots fans. He's going to be developing this kid for the next couple of years, and he just happens to be putting up offenses that should get him head coaching jobs. That's the best of both worlds for this fan base, for this quarterback, and yeah, for the coach, whose reputation is saved. He's not just seen as a Brady merchant, the way that Adam Gase was for Peyton Manning, and reasonably so, by the way, for Peyton Manning. He is getting new life around this league, Josh McDaniels is, because of Drake Maye. And all of us Patriots fans are the ones benefiting from it. So, is Drake Maye saving Josh McDaniels' career? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and it gives you nothing but Boston sports content 5 days a week, live on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well, without any of the bullshit that comes along with Boston Sports Talk Radio these days. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart and Zach Burke. Thank you for making it your first listen today and every day. We will see you tomorrow on another edition of the Wicked Boston Show.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.